Welcome to the Google Classroom tutorial. We're going to go over the basics, the information you need to get started. Now, a couple of things. If you are working with a school district to set up your Google Classroom, make sure that you're using your school issued Google Suite login. Okay, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later in the video itself. If you're using your personal Gmail to set up a Google Classroom and your students are on the school district Google Education Suite, they will not be compatible. Your students will have so much trouble trying to log in, and you will have trouble trying to access them. So just a reminder, I learned this the hard way my first year using Google Classroom. If they are working on a Google Education Suite account, you have to use your own Google Education Suite account. You have to use your school district email to log into the Google Classroom and set up all of your classes. So let's look at what that looks like. So this is the screen when you log into your Google Classroom. Now, this account has no classes set up, so that's why it looks like this. When you look over here at the dots, these are all your Google apps. When you click on them, you can see all the apps that you can access using your school account. Now, the school account is different from a personal account, so the apps that you have at your disposal are going to be different. It depends on what your administrator has selected. We have the Google Drive. Now, the cool thing about Google Drive is that is the unlimited space. If you're using a Google Education Suite account, you have unlimited space on your G Drive, which means all of your classroom files will be saved. Now, if you look at the icon here at the far right, you can see that I'm currently logged in on my school account. Now, I have several accounts that I use Google with, and I'm going to switch over to my personal account. Now, an easy way to distinguish the two is to set up your pictures so that you can remember that one is for a personal account and one is for the school account. Now, there are some times where you can't, you might not be able to save things in the personal account, and that's why you need to distinguish between the two. By clicking the plus sign, you'll see either create a class or to invite or to join a class. So we're going to create a class. I'm going to call this the sandbox. Section 1, it's Google Classroom is the subject. And I click create. Now, once I've done this, it will automatically create a look and a layout for me. And you'll see right away you get a box that describes how to invite students to your class. Now, some school districts allow for the Google Classroom to be self-populated, and so it works with attendance, and you don't have to use the invite feature. But if you want to invite kids manually, you can click on the box and you get the access code. Now, if you remember, when we first opened this class, we first created the class, we had an option of either to create or to join. This is where that code would come into play. If I click on join a class, I'm going to be prompted to submit the class code. So if you get a student in the middle of the year who is new to the district, as soon as they have their district Google Classroom account, you can invite them using this method. Now, another way to invite students is by going to the People tab at the top. And here you can invite students using either an email or you can type in their name. Some districts have a list of students that are enrolled, and all you have to do is type in the name and it will show up. The name will show up and you can invite the student like that. Now, this is great if you get new students who are transferring in from another class. Now you might also notice that there is a tab for teachers to invite teachers. So you can even add a co-teacher to your classroom so that they are kept up to date with all the changes in the classroom assignments and so forth. So that is the basics. So now that we know the basics about starting a class, signing in, and inviting students, in the next video we're going to work on setting up your assignments. Now, if you know all of these things already, jump ahead to the last video. In the last video, I go over how to personalize the look of your Google Classroom account, add pictures, and do a couple of things that you might not be aware of. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Have a great day.